Quoting from your book again, you say, "We can no longer ignore the fact that billions of our neighbors believe in the metaphysics of martyrdom, or in the literal truth of the book of Revelation, or in any of the other fantastical notions that have lurked in the minds of the faithful for millennia, because our neighbors are now armed with chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons." Are you being alarmist?
I don't think so. I think that's as tame a articulation of the dangers as I really can imagine, given how I perceive our situation. I think it is just transparently obvious that there is no possible future in which aspiring martyrs are going to make good neighbors. And we are doing, to speak specifically about what's going on in the Muslim world, we are doing nothing to challenge the metaphysical presuppositions of Islam, and we're doing nothing to encourage a reformation within Islam that challenges these metaphysics, and specifically the metaphysics of martyrdom and jihad. This idea that death in defense of the faith is the highest good. That is really a deal breaker, and it's especially so when you start getting societies that are armed with long-range nuclear weapons, and that's just a matter of time. The nukes, are as we know, are proliferating, and the rocket technology has already been invented, and there's no way to put that knowledge back in the bag. So, how many years do we have to wait before we learn that Pakistan or Saudi Arabia or Iran or any other society that still has its 7th century worldview intact now has nukes that can reach any spot on the globe? Maybe it'll be, at best, it'll be 100 years. It'll take nowhere near that long. But it would be magic if it took 100 years. But it's not going to take longer than that. I'm talking about religious faith, and specifically a style of thinking that takes the sting out of death. That really is the core of religion. In geopolitical terms, we want the sting in death. We do not want groups of people well armed who are not afraid to die. That is really the only thing that allowed us to live more or less stably perched on the brink of Armageddon with the Soviet Union was this mutual disinclination to die. And once you start getting the people who are dewy-eyed with their convictions of how beautiful the afterlife is going to be, you start getting those people holding the keys to the missiles, then all bets are off. Then the thing that it's very difficult for secularists and even religious moderates in our culture to realize is that people really do believe this stuff. People really are motivated by the contents of these holy books. People really do fly planes into buildings because they think they're going to get to paradise and they're going to get 72 virgins. And incidentally, if you really believe this stuff, that it is quite rational to do that. It's given what jihadists, to speak of them specifically again, given what jihadists claim to believe, they're acting perfectly rationally. It's not like they're insane and acting chaotically. They are, if you thought that the creator of the universe wanted nothing more than to have infidels killed so that he could torture them for eternity in the fires of hell, and he was just waiting to reward you and your brethren with an eternity of celestial delights, and not only would you get to paradise, but you'd pave the way for all your loved ones to get there after you, it is just unambiguously rational to kill infidels in some Quranically acceptable way, and then we can then all you have to do is split hairs and get a fatwa as to whether or not it's acceptable to fly a plane into a building when what provocation is necessary for that. And people like Osama bin Laden seek those fatwas and do this kind of theological hair splitting.
When you talk like this, you make me think that we're doomed. Are we doomed?
I have no idea. It's really it's hard to see a basis for real optimism here, because I don't even see the rudiments of a reasonable conversation on these subjects happening at the level that it really should happen at.